The night had started like any other in the world of hip-hop royalty. Exclusive clubs, dim lighting, and a sense of secrecy filled the air. Cam'ron, the veteran Harlem rapper known for his sharp wit and iconic style, had made plans for a private night out. Accompanying him was Chrissy, the stylish socialite and influencer, who had a flair for capturing attention wherever she went. No one expected what was about to unfold. Cameras may not have been rolling, but in the era of smartphones and hidden lenses, nothing stays private for long. A night meant to be intimate and discreet was about to spiral into a full-blown scandal that would dominate headlines. Inside the Velvetrope VIP section of the exclusive Manhattan club, Cam'ron and Chrissy shared laughs and private conversations that seemed harmless to everyone except the one person whose world was about to crumble. Jim Jones. Jim Jones, longtime friend and collaborator of Cam'ron, had been out of town that evening, oblivious to the clandestine plans. But gossip travels fast in Harlem. And when whispers of Cam'ron and Chrissy's private night began circulating, it reached Jim faster than anyone could imagine. At first, it seemed like ordinary chatter. "They're just hanging out, people," said nothing serious. But the tone in the messages suggested more hints, rumors, and insinuations that painted a picture of betrayal, secrecy, and hidden motives. By midnight, Jim Jones's patience wore thin. The messages and calls had piled up, each one more pointed than the last. His curiosity, mixed with a growing sense of suspicion, ignited a storm inside him. Something was happening that he didn't know about, and in the world of hip-hop, secrets have a way of exposing themselves at the worst possible time. Meanwhile, Cam'ron and Chrissy continued their night, unaware of the brewing storm. The energy in the club was electric, music pulsing through the room as champagne flowed. They laughed, danced, and shared moments meant to be private. But in the shadows, the gossip had already begun to spread. By 2 a.m., social media posts started to hint at the secret gathering. Pictures from the night surfaced, subtle snapshots, fleeting glimpses of Cam'ron and Chrissy together. Nothing scandalous at first glance, but the captions, emojis, and timing told a story that was impossible to ignore. Fans and onlookers began speculating. Could it be a new collaboration, a business meeting, or something more personal? The speculation intensified when a short video clip leaked, showing Cam'ron and Chrissy laughing closely, sharing what seemed like inside jokes. The comment section exploded. People tagged Jim Jones, demanding answers, asking, "What's going on here?" By the time Jim finally saw the clip, he was in disbelief. The initial shock quickly turned into anger. His emotions spiraled as he tried to process the images, the rumors, and the reality all at once. What was meant to be a simple night out had now become the epicenter of a brewing scandal that threatened to shake his relationships, his public image, and the trust between friends. He called his inner circle immediately, demanding details. "Where was this happening?" he asked. "Who was involved? Need everything, every message, every post, every picture. I need the truth now." As his team scrambled to piece together the events of the night, Cam'ron and Chrissy were completely unaware that the world and Jim Jones was about to explode with anger. The night that began with laughter and champagne was now a ticking time bomb. And the detonation was closer than anyone realized. The secret night meant to be private and innocent had already set the stage for a confrontation that would dominate the headlines. By the early hours of the morning, whispers had become shouts. Rumors had become confrontations. And one thing was clear: nothing would ever be the same between Cam'ron, Chrissy, and Jim Jones again. The next few hours would reveal not just the truth behind the night, but the explosive emotions that came with it. Jim Jones's reaction, fueled by disbelief and anger, would leave everyone around him stunned, and the fallout from this single night would be felt for months to come, in ways that no one could have predicted. The morning after the secret night, Jim Jones could hardly sleep. Images of Cam'ron and Chrissy's late-night rendezvous haunted his thoughts. Every detail replayed in his mind, the laughter, the close moments, the videos circulating online. At first he hoped it was all innocent, just a night of fun between friends. But as more clips and whispers reached him, denial gave way to anger. By mid-morning, Jim Jones's phone was blowing up. His team, his associates, and even fans flooded him with screenshots, videos, and speculations. He tried to remain calm, but it was impossible. Each clip seemed to mock him, showing Cam'ron and Chrissy together in ways that suggested secrecy, intimacy, and perhaps betrayal. "I can't believe this," Jim muttered, pacing the room. His hands ran through his hair as frustration and disbelief surged through him. Cam'ron, Chrissy, after everything. His team tried to calm him, urging him to wait for explanations before reacting. "Jim, hear us out. Maybe it's nothing. Let's get the full story before you make a move." But Jim was beyond reasoning. Anger had taken root, fueled by the feeling of being left out, disrespected, and blindsided. The more he thought about the night, the more explosive his emotions became. He felt betrayed by his friend, hurt by the secrecy, and humiliated by the public exposure. By the afternoon, Jim could no longer contain himself. He called Cam'ron directly, his voice trembling with rage. "Yo, Cam'ron, what the hell is going on? Explain this to me right now." Cam'ron, caught off guard, tried to defuse the situation. "Jim, man, it's not what it looks like. It was just a night out, that's all. Nothing serious, nothing shady." But Jim wasn't hearing it. "Don't give me that nonsense. Tell me it's nothing. I saw the clips. I know what I saw." His voice grew louder, echoing through the phone. "You went behind my back, man. And with Chrissy. Seriously?" Cam'ron's tone became defensive. "Jim, chill. It was a private night. You weren't there. We were just hanging out. No one's trying to hurt you. Private night." Jim shouted, slamming his phone down in frustration. "This is public now. The internet is blowing up. People are talking. Everyone is watching. How do you think that feels? How dare you do this behind my back?" As Jim paced the room, his anger escalated. His team tried to intervene, but even they knew that reasoning with him at this point was nearly impossible. The energy in the room was electric, charged with tension, disbelief, and outrage. Meanwhile, social media continued to explode. Clips of Jim Jones pacing, talking furiously on the phone, and expressing disbelief began circulating. Fans speculated endlessly. Was he about to confront Cam'ron in person? Would this lead to a public feud? The suspense kept everyone on edge. Back in Manhattan, Cam'ron and Chrissy were completely unaware of the storm brewing. They continued their day, trying to ignore the leaks, laughing off whispers, and assuming the drama would die down. Little did they know, the man whose trust they had unknowingly tested was plotting his next move. By evening, Jim decided he had to confront Cam'ron in person. Security and associates followed closely as he drove to the location where Cam'ron was rumored to be. Every step of the way, his mind raced. The betrayal, the secrecy, the humiliation. Each thought fueled his determination to get answers, to demand respect, and to express the fury that had built up inside him. When Jim finally arrived, the tension was palpable. Cam'ron tried to greet him calmly, but the look in Jim's eyes said everything. His hands were shaking, his jaw tight, and his breathing heavy. This was not a man in the mood to negotiate. This was a man consumed by betrayal and rage. "Jim, yo, let's talk, man," Cam'ron said cautiously, trying to diffuse the energy. "Talk." Jim's voice cut through the room like a whip. "You expect me to sit here and talk after what I just saw? You serious?" Chrissy, realizing the gravity of the situation, tried to step in. "Kim, please, I promise," but Jim wasn't listening. Don't you dare. You don't get to explain this right now." His voice rose, every word dripping with anger. "You went behind me, you lied. You kept secrets, and now the world knows. You understand what that feels like?" The confrontation escalated quickly. Yelling filled the room, accusations flew, and tensions reached a breaking point. Cam'ron attempted to calm him, but Jim was beyond reason. The intensity of the emotions, the betrayal, and the public scrutiny collided in a perfect storm. Witnesses later described the scene as explosive, chaotic, and unlike anything they had seen before. Jim's rage was palpable, while Cam'ron's attempts at reasoning only seemed to fuel it further. Chrissy, caught in the middle, struggled to maintain composure. Her attempts at mediation largely ignored security, and assistants hovered nearby, wary of any sudden escalation. The energy in the room was like a live wire, volatile, dangerous, and unpredictable. Every gesture, every tone of voice seemed to add fuel to the fire by the time the confrontation ended. For now, the damage was done. Words had been exchanged, tensions had reached their peak, and relationships had been irreversibly strained. Social media was already buzzing with updates from eyewitnesses and leaks from the scene. Clips of Jim's outrage, Cam'ron's defensive stance, and Chrissy's attempt to mediate circulated online, each view adding to the frenzy. The secret night, which had begun as a simple outing, had now ignited a full-blown scandal. Jim Jones had lost his temper, emotions ran high, and the fallout was far from over. The confrontation left a permanent mark on everyone involved. Cam'ron, usually calm under pressure, felt the tension linger long after Jim Jones had stormed out. Chrissy, still shaken from being in the middle of the explosive exchange, tried to process what had just happened. The private night, intended as a fun, discreet escape, had now evolved into a full-blown scandal with consequences that would ripple across social media. Hip-hop circles and the press thought by the next morning, news of the confrontation had leaked. Social media erupted with speculation, screenshots, and eyewitness accounts. Hashtags like #Cam'ron Chrissy Night, #Jim Jones Explodes, and #Hip Hop Drama began trending across Twitter and Instagram. Fans and critics alike dissected every detail, from the secret meeting to the heated confrontation in posts, reaction videos, and meme compilations. Some sided with Jim Jones, believing his anger was justified. It's right to be upset. One fan tweeted, "You don't just keep secrets like that. Cam'ron and Chrissy went too far." Others criticized his reaction, claiming that while secrecy was frustrating, losing control in public made the situation worse. "Jim should have stayed calm," wrote another. "He looks bad losing it like that." Meanwhile, Cam'ron and Chrissy attempted to maintain composure. They released short statements acknowledging the rumors but insisting that nothing malicious had occurred. "It was just a night out among friends," Cam'ron said in a brief video post. "No one intended harm or drama. We regret if it caused confusion." Chrissy echoed the sentiment. "We were having fun. Nothing more, nothing less. Respect everyone's perspective, but please understand the context." Despite their efforts, the damage had already been done. News outlets picked up the story, analyzing the leaked videos and interviews. Bloggers and hip-hop commentators dissected the night from every angle, debating everything from loyalty and trust to public image and celebrity culture. Reaction videos on YouTube garnered millions of views in hours, further fueling the frenzy. Fans were relentless. Every social media post, every appearance, every interview became a subject of speculation. Rumors spread about secret conversations, private messages, and unverified details of the night, making it impossible for anyone involved to control the narrative. Even casual observers weighed in, debating who was right or wrong, and creating viral content that kept the story trending for days. Jim Jones, meanwhile, had to face the public fallout of his reaction. Clips of him losing his temper during the confrontation circulated widely, sparking conversations about anger management, public behavior, and the pressures of celebrity relationships. Some defended him, arguing that betrayal and secrecy can provoke extreme reactions. Others criticized him, claiming that, as a public figure, he should have exercised more restraint. Inside the hip-hop community, tensions simmered. friends and collaborators expressed concern over how the incident might affect future projects, partnerships, and public perception. Some feared that lingering resentment could cause long-term damage to relationships built over decades. Others saw the situation as a cautionary tale, a reminder that secrets, even in the most private moments, rarely stay hidden in the age of social media. For Cam'ron and Chrissy, the experience was both humbling and alarming. They realized how quickly a simple night could spiral into a public spectacle, how vulnerable they were to leaks, and how unpredictable human emotions could be. Every interaction after the incident carried an unspoken tension as friends and associates wondered whether trust could be fully restored. Yourselves in the center of the storm. They also had to navigate the scrutiny of fans, media, and the hip-hop industry. Interviews were scheduled, public appearances monitored, and social media carefully curated. Every word and gesture was analyzed, making it nearly impossible to move forward without acknowledging the incident. In the following weeks, Jim Jones began reflecting on the situation. While his anger had been real and justified in his eyes, he realized that public confrontations often carry consequences beyond the moment. Statements were issued, interviews conducted, and efforts made to explain his reaction without escalating the drama further. Despite this, trust between the three remained strained, leaving a lingering tension that fans eagerly watched unfold. The secret night, intended to be discreet and private, had transformed into a cultural moment, a story of secrecy, betrayal, emotional reactions, and the volatility of fame. Social media trends, viral videos, and endless speculation ensured that the incident remained a dominant topic for weeks. Ultimately, the fallout served as a reminder of the delicate balance between personal relationships and public scrutiny in the modern celebrity world. Even a night meant for fun could become a historic moment of drama, exposing the fragility of trust and the intensity of emotions in high-profile friendships. For Cam'ron, Chrissy, and Jim Jones, the experience was unforgettable. Lessons were learned, relationships tested, and public perceptions forever altered. Fans would continue to debate the night, dissect every video, and speculate on future interactions. The scandal became a defining moment in their personal narratives, and in the broader context of hip-hop culture, leaving a mark that would be remembered for years to come. While the situation eventually calmed, its impact lingered. The secret night, the explosive confrontation, and the public reactions became a story studied for its raw emotion, unexpected twists, and the power of social media to amplify even the smallest personal moments into worldwide conversations. And in the end, one thing was clear: nothing would ever be the same for Cam'ron, Chrissy, or Jim Jones again. The secret night had been exposed, emotions had flared, and the world had witnessed every shocking moment, a cautionary tale about secrets, fame, and the explosive consequences that follow when trust is broken in the public eye.